Hi, everyone, and thanks for being with me. I'm going to talk today about AUKUS and what this means to Australia in terms of our relationship with the United States. I think you'll find that many of the things I've been saying about Donald Trump over the years and our involvement and why it's important to us have come to fruition. So, I have been saying for many, many years now that Donald Trump is one of the most abysmal human beings on this planet. And people have criticised me for making those statements because you are Australian and you are, thousands of kilometres away from the United States. So why is it of a concern to you? Well, it's clearly a concern because at the moment, and there are many, many reasons I could go into why American politics impacts us, but Americans have inserted themselves for over 60 years into geopolitical affairs. They have dominated NATO, trade, how we view the world, the conflicts in Asia and in the Middle East. So they have inserted themselves into places where they need not have, but have done so because for whatever reason, the United States has seen that they can have some power and some influence and it benefited them. They didn't do it because they had some sense of goodness for other people or some sense of in-depth understanding as to how they can influence in a positive way the rest of the world. No. They had interests that were self-interests, only self-interests. They were never, ever really interested in what happens to other countries in the world, only how the governments of those countries and how trade would impact them. But now we have Trump and things are different because now I believe we're seeing the United States for who they actually are. As much as I dislike Trump, I am convinced that he's echoing many of the views of people in the United States. Not all of them, granted, but many of those views. And AUKUS is one of those where we have fallen into the trap of believing that the United States could be our saviour. In fact, not just us, but the rest of the world, Europe in particular, have done exactly the same thing over the years. We have been conned by the United States. And we're now coming to realise that we don't need to depend upon them. But we've made decisions now about where to spend our money, our defence funding, in fact, and how we're going to offer that up just to the United States because we believe that they will provide the best solution for us, particularly in relation to submarines. So the question is, as much as I've been right about this over the years, it has become evident that many more Australians are seeing and thinking as I have for all this time. And we're coming to realise that we no longer need to rely on the United States with the rest of the world. It's a new world order and it will be a better one than the one that's been put together by the United States over the last 60 to 70 years. So things are changing. So there was an interesting Your Say article on the ABC news site today that I thought was really interesting because it emulates what a number of people are saying in relation to this particular issue. And so it says, these are your questions about the future of AUKUS with Donald Trump back in the White House. The ABC's Your Say project suggests there's deep concern among some Australians over the reliability of a nation's military alliance with the United States under Donald Trump and the $368 billion submarine deal known as AUKUS. AUKUS is a security pact that was signed by the three allies in 2021, which is United States, UK and Australia. The future of the deal and Australia's security has set alongside housing, climate change and cost of living as major themes raised by respondents to this particular site, Your Say on the ABC. So this is what some people are saying, and I couldn't agree more. Get out of AUKUS and look to protect ourselves because there is no way the US will go to war to protect Australia. Ain't that the truth? Why is Australia putting all its eggs in one basket, with the largest transfer of wealth in the country's history to a country which is no longer a reliable ally. Another person says the USA has changed permanently and we can no longer trust them. Now, I agree with all of those statements. More specifically, contributors raised concerns over the AUKUS submarine deal, under which Australia would gain access to nuclear submarine technology from the US and the UK, building a fleet of 8 subs as the linchpin of our future defence. Nuclear-powered submarines are more stealthy and much faster than diesel-electric subs, which would mean that the current submarines that we've got would simply be outdated. They're getting too old anyway. Except all of that. Some You'll Say comments direct to refer to Donald Trump's possible lack of awareness of AUKUS, because when he was asked about the AUKUS, he had no idea, because the man's an idiot. He had no idea, no concept of what AUKUS was, what it stood for, and who was involved. So he said, what does that mean when asked about AUKUS? He had no idea. Get out of AUKUS. Trump doesn't even know what it is, says Rob. What is Australia's position regarding the realignment of American support of its allies, especially when the US president is unaware of AUKUS when asked? We're giving the US millions of dollars for AUKUS and Trump didn't even know what it was. Do we really believe that we can still rely on the US? And my response to that is no, we can't. It's about time we started, even if it wasn't, now I believe even if it wasn't Trump that was president, he's made us aware of the issues around relying on the United States for defence reasons. But even if it wasn't, I think the time has come where we need to, and I've said this many times before and I'll reiterate it for as long as I'm alive, that there are other nations that we could rely on. France, we did away with our agreement with France under Morrison because Morrison is a clown. And we did away, and we've joined up with the United States and Britain in order to build these submarines. We could find other countries that we're prepared to, that we could negotiate with in building submarines, if submarines are damn so important to us. We can certainly get our aircraft from somewhere else, from France in particular. They manufacture a very sophisticated aircraft, and also there's some technology that's been associated with all of this with regard to the US. Well, that technology is also available in other countries as well. So we need to look for and invest in other countries apart from the US to provide us with the defence that we need. Now, I would also like to suggest that if you've got a few minutes or just a couple of seconds, that you subscribe to my channel, ring the bell for further notifications so you get more of these words of wisdom from yours truly. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think that it is important for Australia to withdraw, to sever our relationships with the United States, particularly because of the damage that they're doing, not just in terms of defence, but in terms of trade as well? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. In the meantime, take care, look after yourselves, and more importantly, be safe.